welcome back to another episode of Late Entry. Late Entry is hosted as always by RBF Kyle,
How we doing, everybody?
your boy Double Dose, and we are joined tonight by a special guest. Oh my God, a special guest, the Black Panther himself, Chad.
Yes, sir. Wakanda forever, baby. Let's go.
Appreciate all of you guys for joining us so late. Had some big flight issues today. All due disrespect to myself for thinking that a flight for me would ever go smoothly. So I know we behind, but if you here, we appreciate you guys. Thank you. Uh, Gonna get into a little mix of information tonight. We've got Daniel Jones. We've got a creepy ass gymnastics coach. Some NFL news. All due disrespect and funny posts. So let's get right on into it. Daniel Jones, of all people, was elevated to the starting quarterback for the Colts over Anthony Richardson, which I'm kind of surprised by. I thought that maybe they would have him as a backup. Um, I can't believe that he won the starting job. Makes me wonder, did the Colts hate AR, or do they think he just needs some time to sit it down and learn from, I guess, Daniel Jones of all people? Kyle, why don't you start us off? Tell us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that I'm not about this. Danny Dimes showed some promise with the Giants at one point, and Shane Steichen has shown he can work well with quarterbacks. Um, and in a shorter amount of time, I could see somebody who's already done it at a pro level kind of being more in Shane's kind of front sight of who he thinks could win right now. I don't think this necessarily means by week 8, Daniel Jones is still their starter, but I understand, and I could see how he maybe had a better camp. Um, and Anthony Richardson really was only a starter for one season in college. And so he's going to be a really, really slow project. And I think Shane's realizing that. Um, Jordan Love sat for that third year. He looked like crap in the preseason going into that third year. He sat for Aaron Rodgers. He played a couple of games when Aaron was hurt. Didn't look amazing. Had a couple of decent showings. I think Anthony Richardson's looked better in his first 3 years. Granted, we've seen him actually play NFL games, but then Jordan Love did, and Jordan Love turned out, right? So it doesn't mean it's over for Anthony Richardson, but I think for right now, it's Daniel Jones's time. Kind of in a similar way for Cleveland, it's Joe Flacco's time right now, but it doesn't mean. I mean, that's probably a little longer out that you're seeing somebody else as the starter. They're going to probably give him a little more leeway than you'll see from the Colts giving Daniel Jones. But I just think that, yeah, they got to go with who they see giving them wins at the start of the season, potentially giving them a postseason showing and giving the team more money.
Chad?
My heart says I'm not a fan by this move, but I do get it. You got to win games. You got to start out winning games. They didn't have a great year last year. You got Riley Leonard back there, rookie as well too. Anthony Richardson, has a glimmer of he can do well. He can be a potential starting quarterback for them, franchise quarterback. Um, but my heart says I'm not a fan. But I mean, I see what they're doing, right? I see what they're doing. I understand it. I'm not a fan of it, but you got to start winning some games. You got to turn this franchise around somehow. You got to do something. Um, I think they should have got, you know, Teddy Bridgewater's back. Grab him. Grab somebody, who else is a veteran who's out there. Just I don't know, man. Just Daniel Jones to me, just I feel like he's not the guy that I would have chosen to be in this position. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I get it. I understand. So
Um, it's crazy because I feel like you mentioned Teddy Bridgewater. I feel like they've got to think that there's a potential that Daniel Jones could become that guy and bail them out of this Anthony Richardson situation. Um, if you had thought that it was going to be Anthony Richardson, just needed to give him some time, you could have got Teddy. You had Joe Flacco there last season. You could have kept
Right.
him instead of letting him go back to
Right.
the Browns.
Right.
And we did see this with Sam Darnold with the Vikings last year, but that was due to an injury where he got elevated into this. They went and got Daniel Jones, who was with the Vikings actually. Um, the only way I see this is getting someone that young is if you think that there's a potential that maybe he can be the answer and not Anthony Richardson. Otherwise, I think that you get an older guy just as a mentor, not a younger guy who doesn't really seem in a position to mentor somebody like that. Anthony Richardson, he's got so much talent, but he's so raw. And what's crazy is the Colts picked him knowing that he was going to be a project, knowing you're going to have to go through the steps with him. And it seems like they didn't fully. It's got to be one of two things. Either they didn't fully go through with what they should have done, knowing that he was going to be that, or everything that he's shown them is just not what they want. And they're just like, yeah, we got to get out of this situation. I mean, you had it last season where he tapped out of that game. And it was people were like, what kind of like competitor's heart do you have if you're going to tap out of a game? Whereas Daniel Jones, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, yeah, that I almost think the almost third option could be Jim Irsay. I know I've talked crap on him before on this pod, but like, dude is losing it year by year. And I feel like that could have been something from him that was like, you better pick that kid. You know, like he's watching ESPN every morning. And yeah, he's just like, he's seeing Mel Kiper, like, Anthony Richardson is one of the best prospects of all time. And so he's like, we got to go get that guy. So yeah, I could just see this coming from Jim Irsay. That's all I really want to say. That'd be the other third option. And then Steichen was never really that convinced. So now he's like, finally, I have something I can maybe work with, you know? I don't know.
And well, the thing too is the fact that what Daniel Jones has going for him now is the fact of not only being in a new situation entirely, different fans, the Colts fans instead of New York and the New York media, but the Colts offensive line is way, way better than it was than he had with the Giants. And that was one of his biggest problems was the fact that the Giants line was terrible. He was getting the hell beat out of him. I remember, I think it was last season, watching them play the Seahawks, and they were killing him, bro. I mean, they were just teeing off on him every play. Yeah. And so maybe we'll get to see. I mean, you've seen, Sam Darnold go somewhere else, have a resurgence. You've seen other quarterbacks kind of move around and that things go better. And I'm thinking maybe Daniel Jones, he's got some better weapons over there. He's got an offensive line. Maybe things look well for him. We got Toph in the chat. He said the AR experience is done. It's time to move on. He ain't learned anything in 3 years. It's only really been 2 though for him, right? Because he had a season-ending injury this first year. Yeah. I think that tapping out thing, I think that really haunted him because a lot of people. And here's the other thing too is so now his agent has released a statement talking about like, is this, we'll have to see what our future looks like if it's with this team or somewhere else. I don't know if they're overplaying their hand, bro. Like at this situation, you might be kind of like in a Justin Fields situation. Where it's like you just need to go and sit down for a little bit, show that you can be a good teammate, backup quarterback, and then maybe you'll get a chance somewhere else or something. But if you force a trade now, I don't think that you've got any real legs to stand on. Like you were terrible when you played, threw a ton of picks, fumbles, kept getting hurt, not making the greatest reads. You do have the talent, like you can sling that boy, but I don't know, man. I think the whole league saw the tapping out thing, and then they know that the Colts are looking like they're not wanting to move on with them. So it's like if you try to force your way out, it's not going to be good. I think that other teams are going to be like, nope, we don't want that. Meanwhile, you see Trey Lance. Trey Lance has kind of bounced around. He was, in the Niners, never really got a good shot with the Niners. He was back up in Dallas. Now he's over with the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, and he looked really good in the preseason. People were talking about how Harbaugh might be the fix for his career. You've seen, Baker have his ups and downs. I think at this point, my best advice to him would be stay humble, just go to work, grind. Don't make a bigger situation of yourself where teams aren't going to want you. Show that you can be a good teammate, you can be a good backup, stay in the league, and then maybe another opportunity will open up for you.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to. The more we're talking about this, the more it's making me think about my all due disrespect. But so I don't want to keep going. But in a weird way. It might make sense later, but I just love seeing guys get second chances too. You know, like Geno Smith,
Yes,
Trey
another
Lance
one.
is, you know, like
Yeah.
these guys that Baker Mayfield, like you just said, these guys that kind of have gone through the ringer and have struggled to make it and kind of just eventually become something and get that big payday. It's awesome.
That was another one too. Yeah, there's definitely a mold there of like quarterbacks that take their time, wait it out in the back, and then get another chance later. So I just hope that he doesn't do anything too crazy and get himself out the league. Be playing in the
I hope he
CFL
doesn't
next.
either. But I agree with you on the Jim Irsay thing. I think Jim Irsay might have had a hand in why Anthony Richardson was there. And now that he's no longer living, they're like, yo, we got to do something different because this dude ain't the answer. But
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see.
Let's hit some other quick NFL news. So, as everyone knows, there's the whole beefing situation going on with Micah Parsons and the Cowboys with Jerry Jones. Mike is saying that he wanted to trade. He wanted out. He was tired of the way that Jerry did business. The Packers, it was reported that the Packers offered 2 firsts, a second, and a fifth for Micah Parsons, and the Cowboys turned it down. You think that was a good move or a bad move by them, Chad?
Let me just say I'm not a Dallas Cowboys fan, so I'm gonna apologize to all your listeners that might be Dallas Cowboys fans. I'm here for this argument because I think Micah Parsons should have been somebody that you paid. You should give him what he wants. Uh, he's worth every penny of it. Your defense is not going to win without him. So you give him that money, man. He's earned it. Give him that money. Give him his payday, and then build a defense around him. You got some good people there, but I don't know, man. You keep them. You keep them. You just pay them. Like that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Kyle?
Amen. So many of these teams are just not taking care of these guys that are homegrown and have bought into the culture. And I don't understand it, dude. I don't understand why you don't take care of these guys on defense. Talking to you too, Bengals. Sign Trey Hendrickson. Cut the trade BS.
Exactly. Yes.
Like this sack leader of last season. I mean, Micah, I'm sure he was a sack leader of one season. I can't remember which one it was, but I mean, dude has been nothing but positive for the Cowboys. Like, yeah, he crashes out on Twitter sometimes, but so does freaking Draymond Green. And the Golden State Warriors have won, 4 championships, 5 championships with him. So,
yes.
Like, buy into those guys that will ride and die for your franchise, and don't give them a reason to want to leave. And they've already done that. I think it's BS. I mean, shit. Seeing Micah twice a year, that'd give Jared Goff some good testing coming into playoff time. So I wouldn't hate to see those reps in the regular season, so he can be ready for guys like Bosa and all that coming up in the AFC on the other side when we eventually get to that bowl. But yeah, so bring
this
them on.
year. This year, baby. It's going down this year, man.
Come on. I'm with him. I'm with Chad.
Before I give my take on this, I just want to point out I just got a notification from my phone. Basically, if I had not got a different flight, I would just be landing in Chicago right now. This is crazy, bro. I was supposed to get back 4 or 5 hours ago. Insanity.
Hey, we're coming at you live and direct.
Yes. And you know what? Your ride would have been there, though. Your ride would have been there right now.
Ride would have been on
time.
Oh man. So a few things. First of all, as a number 1 Lions fan, number 2 Packers fan, nothing would have made me happier than getting Micah Parsons on the Packers, dog. That'd have been delicious. Like, they would have destroyed people, dog. That'd have been bad. Unfortunately, that'll just live on in my brain, but not in real life. The Cowboys, I mean, you guys kind of hit the head on it. Like, Micah Parsons is the best probably the best pass rusher, or maybe second to Myles Garrett in the entire league right now. He's by far the best player on the Cowboys. If he wanted a cheeseburger delivered to his house at 2 a.m, Jerry Jones should have his ass in the car driving the McDonald's to him, bro. Like,
right.
Or at least call that radio host you made fun of and make him do it.
to make things this contentious with your starters doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like, you better fix it, because especially, you get trade offers and you turn them down. I guess we're gonna see what Micah's made of, man. If he's gonna, because he's still on a contract, so he's got 1 year left on it, I think. Then you're still looking at the franchise tag, which they can hit you with 1 or 2 years for. So Jerry could really, and that's probably how he's thinking. He's probably feeling like, I got all the leverage right now. Like, you're not going to miss these game checks. But I just don't know why you would want to go down that contentious road with the best player on your team. It just doesn't make
Jerry Jones. He's Jerry Jones. That's what he's known for. He's known for making these people work for little to nothing, if he can get them for little to nothing. And that's the reason I hate the Cowboys, is it's not really America's team anymore. Like, we keep hearing about the Cowboys. I feel like when it's off season and during the season, we always hear about how good the Cowboys are, how bad they are, but it's always a conversation about the Cowboys, no matter what. And you gotta do, like, he is, because it keeps money in his pocket. He don't care about nothing else but that. So obviously you got a great player, you got an all-star player here, potential Hall of Famer, obviously, and you stalling him out. You're not gonna pay him what he wants. You're gonna try to franchise tag him or something like that. That's lame. That's super lame.
And what's crazy too is, like, the Cowboys, I feel like, are a very good, like, mirror to, like, franchises like the Lakers. Like, they always have big names. They're always talked about, whether they're good or whether they're bad. They're always forefront of sports. The most, or one of the most profitable franchises in all of sports. And it's just so different how the two teams operate, because the Lakers are known for, like, big players want to go there. Like, we want to be a Laker. We want to wear that purple and gold. We know that they're going to take care of us, because the Lakers have always taken care of their stars. And the Cowboys are the exact opposite. The blueprint is right there, and you can learn from it. But you want to do things the hard way, because you Jerry, and it's crazy to me.
That's why the Detroit Lions will be the new America's team, and
we are America's team.
Have become, because I've been reading comments. I've been reading comments from Philly fans like, man, I know y'all lost both coordinators, but I'm really liking Kelvin Shepard. I'm really like I've been reading everything. Like, there's something different, like, about the way that they're building things around here these days, and they're doing it the way you just talked about the Lakers always doing it. And the Lakers have almost gotten away from that in some ways since they've gotten LeBron, I think. And Detroit, America's team.
I don't know, man. I feel like 2 years ago, I feel like we were, but I feel like last year people were starting to get tired of us. They're getting Lions fatigue already.
For sure. I mean, we were going 15-2 with nobody on defense. Who wouldn't get tired of that? If you're not a fan of our team, who wouldn't?
You're right.
We're talking about oh my God, Anthony Richardson. Sorry, talking about Anthony Richardson, about how he needs to stay in the league. We got what I'm thinking is probably going to be last chance you for another player right now. The Chiefs just made a trade with the 49ers today to get Skyy Moore. The Niners, this is from Adam Schefter. The Niners have been decimated with injuries at wide receiver. Brandon Ayuk is recovering from a knee injury. Juwan Jennings has been dealing with a calf injury. Jordan Watkins has a high ankle sprain. And Demarcus Robinson is facing a 3-game suspension for, I think, like, violating the substance policy. Substance, I don't know if it was like PEDs or drugs or what. But yeah, so now you've got Skyy Moore over there. I think they traded him for like a 7th. So that's somebody that out of Western, I was really excited to see him, my alma mater, when he went to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs even needed some help at receiver at one point, and Skyy wasn't cutting it with them. So I'm really hoping that he gets some good run with the Niners. Hopefully Kyle Shanahan knows how to use them, and they're able to get it done with them. But I'm scared for him. I think this is probably it. If it busts here with no healthy receivers, then it's probably going to be over. Are you guys?
Man, I don't know. I think he might be all right, man, because You gotta think of it. They just got rid of Debo, so they're gonna need another speedy receiver, and I think Skyy Moore can be that speedy receiver, that can, take the top off of defenses and things like that. I just feel like he was sitting behind in Kansas City. You got all these other receivers that Mahomes is gelling with and, has rapport with. And you got this new guy that comes in there and, still got to establish that connection. So I feel like there were other receivers that Mahomes trusted more than Skyy Moore. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
I agree with that take. I could see the same thing. Kyle Shanahan, he's dealt with receivers that have dropping issues, and he's just found a way to get the ball in their hands in whatever way that they can. Screen passes, jet sweeps, things like that. Speedy, throw him in the same way you threw Debo in. Just let him in as a running back. Let him run it up the middle a couple times for 4 yards. Why not?
Right.
You got to test this kid and see what he's made of,
Do
And I
more
think
with
the
him.
Niners
Yeah.
are at that point, where they're just like, we're just going to take anyone and try to coach them up and get them to that point, because they are at this weird. The fact that they gave up Debo is crazy to me. He's done
It
so
is.
much for this offense for so long. I know he's getting older. I know he's approaching that age. But also these coaches are what they are for a reason, and the Niners have been successful for 15 years 10 years under Shanahan for a reason. A little bit on and off, but yeah, I could see him having success. I don't know that this is necessarily like we're gonna have a come to Jesus moment and he's gonna be a big fantasy grab, but like I would love to see Skyy Moore get a resurgence.
What hurts me the most is the fact that I and I've said this before. My least favorite team in the entire NFL is the Niners. I hate them so much. They have
Mhm.
stood in the path of so much success from both the Lions and the Packers over the last few years, and it's like I've been so excited this season for their downfall. I really have. As much as I love Christian McCaffrey, love Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Um, as much as I love him, I've been so excited for the Niners downfall. I'm hoping they were going to be trash this year. It's going to be one less team in the way up with us. And now I gotta go out there and hope that Skyy Moore, WMU, that he's gonna be good on a team that I was so looking forward to not rooting for.
You don't have to root for the
Um,
whole team. You just root for Sky. You just,
Yeah, you just
get excited when he catches the ball and does something.
yeah,
pick
yeah. I
him
mean that's
up
fair.
on your dynasty league, and no one will
Yeah,
trade
yeah. That's
I'm
right.
trade you
also
for him.
not a Brock Purdy believer. So that's the other thing too, is the guy throwing the ball to him I'm not a fan of. So I'm hoping,
Mm.
which
All
I
right,
know
leading
is
into my all due disrespect for the night.
which I know is gross of me, because I should be happy for the underdog story, but he on the wrong team for that for me.
I got you.
Um
I got you.
Kyle, you had some information about Myles Garrett.
Yeah, Miles Garrett, he just got I didn't know you were going to lead me into this like this. Hey,
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
anybody
sorry.
also just no, you're good. Anybody in the comments, let us know what you think about what we're talking about. If you want to talk crap, we're ready to hear it and we'll take it. We'll probably fight back because none of us like being wrong, like any human. But um, yeah, feel
Hey,
free to comment, please.
before you get into that, I want to give a shout out, bro. So happy to be back in Michigan and get this. This is not an ad.
Mm.
I'm just a big Verner's, bro. There's Canada Dry is nothing on Verner's. Every time I'm back in Michigan, love to get me some Verner's. So I'm over here happy like a little kid.
That's funny
Happy
because
back in pure
nobody I
Michigan.
know drinks that shit.
I
Nobody I
know.
know drinks
I'm
that
more of a
shit.
Drinks
Canada Dry
Verner's?
person at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
used to be a Verner's guy, but I've transitioned. No
y'all are not
homo.
real. Y'all are not real.
Yes, we are.
Oh my god, y'all
I'm
are not
sorry.
real. Y'all are not real Michiganders, dog. This is
Yes, we
Michigan
are.
right here.
No,
It's
that
Michigan in
Verner's
a
is
I know.
bottle.
real. That Verner's
I
is
feel
real.
you, but I don't know anybody that drinks burners. You know what I'm saying? Like just
If
you.
if
You're
you
the only person I've ever known.
if you in the comments, please let us know if you are Verner's fans or not. But Kyle, go ahead with your Miles Garrett.
All right, real quick. I like Boston coolers. What you get a Verner's and some ice cream.
Okay.
Hit me up any day. Miles Garrett just got his 8th speeding ticket in 8 years. Hell yeah, bro. That is a lot on one hand. That being said, the Cleveland Browns kind of peppered his behind about wow, pause. They really they really harped into him about I see, I told you I wasn't expecting you to lead me into this like this. They were they really harped into him about why how it feels for the gas pedal to go down and hit and like watch that speedometer go over 100 miles per hour. And he's like, I'd just like to talk about, football, unless it's about the charity event that I did for the kids last week. And they kept asking him questions about like, why do you think you keep getting hit with these tickets? Do you think they're targeting you? Blah, blah, blah. Like they're just trying to catch him on anything. And he just kept saying repeatedly, like, I just want to talk about football. I just want to talk about football. I just want to talk about football. On one hand, like, I understand you want to talk about football, but like 8 speeding tickets is a lot. Like that is a lot of speeding tickets in 8 years. I haven't, knock on wood here, I haven't been pulled over since like I think 6-7 years. So I've almost beat you on even being pulled over, let alone getting a ticket. But I know I'm in my privilege here, in my privilege bag here. But I don't cook at 85 and a 65 usually either. Another white thing about me. But no, I'm kidding. But yeah. I really, at the end of the day, as a fan of, once again, the Detroit Lions, I could never see our media like digging this deep, this long at somebody that had been the best part of my franchise for the last 9 years, over going a little fast in a 65, So
was it the Cleveland media or was it just the general media?
It was the Cleveland Browns at a training camp practice. Yeah.
Chad?
What kind of car was he driving? That's what I want to know. What was
Ferrari.
he driving? Ooh-wee. I'd probably have 8 speeding tickets too if I had a Ferrari. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie. If I had a Ferrari,
and you were making 40 mil a year, you decided to 40 mil a year.
Because all you gotta do is roll down the window and be like, "Yo, I'm Miles Garrett. Come on, let me go." That's probably all the ones he's been written up for. I'm sure he got more than that.
Yeah, it's probably surprising
You know what I
when they
mean?
actually give him a ticket. He's probably like, "Wait, me?"
He's like,
It's
hold
probably
on.
the same dude too. I bet it's the same dude.
It's the same cop that's he's had him in his dynasty for the last 15 years or the last 10 years, and he's like, God damn it, I keep losing in the finals.
It's probably a lot of cops out there in Cleveland have gotten some box seats. It's probably a lot of cops that have gotten some box seats out there over the last few years. Hey, while we're talking about driving, we haven't talked about this yet on the podcast, and I keep forgetting about it. But you brought this up. I would love for somebody to explain to me how the hell Rashee Rice is able to play the first 4 games of the season before having his date with the league to see if he gets suspended or not. And I'm sure he will get suspended. But how this happened, like last year?
Yeah.
He's already gone through court for it. Every other situation I've ever seen before, the league's got you up out of there already. Or you're on the commissioner's exempt list where you can't play. How are you allowed to play 4 games this season and then have that happen? I don't get it. It seems to me like that people are going to be screaming about the Chiefs conspiracy stuff, and I don't understand what you could say to possibly say that they're wrong.
So the only other person I've seen this similar treatment for was Ezekiel Elliott. He was under investigation for over a year, and he played a full season after being proven guilty.
I thought he was on the exempt list. I thought they had him. I thought that he couldn't play.
Well, they kept pushing back his hearing, and he played all the way through them pushing back his hearing. That is the only other person that they let go for this long.
Jerry was filing injunctions while they were investigating the situation, though.
I'm sure he was, but I'm just saying he was still playing through. The whole
No,
thing. That's
I guess what I'm saying the difference is the fact that they were investigating Zeke at the time, and Jerry was actively filing with the judge to get them to not put down the hammer until they squared it away. The Rashee Rice stuff is done. Rashee Rice has to go to jail when the season's over.
yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, like that court case
true.
already happened.
That is different. Yeah.
When the season's over, Rashee Rice has to go to jail. Like,
I guess that's a
literally
little
go to
different.
jail.
Yeah.
God damn.
Not
So
even just like weekends. Like he's got to
serve so many hours. I think I don't know the specifics of it, but what I don't understand is how you're allowed to still continue to play, and the league doesn't come down on you. At every other situation like this, if you get found guilty by court, that's at least 3 games or 6 games conduct unbecoming.
Usually,
Let alone the other punishment for that. So I just don't understand what grounds they have to continue to let him play for 4 games and then meet with them for that.
The NFL is weird about punishing their players, man. It's just like everything's super delayed, or they push it back. Or I feel like wasn't Ray Rice somebody else who, punched that girl in the elevator or something, and then he was still playing for a minute.
Kareem Hunt, he
Kareem
hit somebody,
Hunt.
and then he was playing for the Browns like 4 games, 3 games later. I mean,
it's just, I don't know, man. The NFL and they've been known to not discipline people correctly and let people get away with stuff and still come to work. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Man, I remember like maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, Contavious Caldwell Pope, he I don't know if he was behind on child support or what it was. Bro was literally, he would go to jail, get out of jail, go practice, play a game, go back to jail. I'm not joking, dog. I'm not joking.
That's crazy.
It's wild how stuff like that works for athletes sometimes.
It does. It is.
I can't even imagine. Like you're in the drunk tank and you get out and like they're like, all right, you got to serve like 3 days, and then like for a drunken disorderly, and then you walk in and you just see like Caldwell Pope in the yard, just like slinging.
He's getting his reps in.
KCP, is that you?
Yeah.
All right, on to a much more serious topic. So this is, I guess I should say this is alleged. This is coming from ESPN, so not information that I have specifically, but just saying that for potential legal reasons, I guess. A former gymnastics coach from a prominent gym in Iowa was arrested last week after the federal government found probable cause he produced child pornography. Sean Gardner, who had coached at both Child's Gymnastics and Dance in West Des Moines at Jump in Gymnastics and Tumbling in Mississippi, was charged with producing visual depictions of minors engaging in sexually explicit conduct after police found multiple hidden camera videos of girls changing and using the bathroom at the Mississippi gym, federal documents show. I'm going to paraphrase some of the other stuff on here. They basically said that there was like some of the girls that he was coaching had complained that he would have them stretch in ways that were inappropriate or would like touch them while spotting them. They also said that they found multiple images of girls anywhere from 6 to 14 years old that appear to have come from a hidden camera next to a toilet in a commercial restroom. That's the most sick shit ever. And this man deserves to be buried far, far underground. What I also thought was crazy about this was that he was suspended from coaching by what's it called? Safe Sport in July 2022. They forwarded the stuff to the police. The police didn't interview the girl until 2024. What was possibly better going on that the police were doing for 2 years than interviewing the victim of that? I think that's terrible, and they should probably look into what held that up. I'm not even talking about when he got arrested, because I know the court stuff takes a while, but just the fact that they didn't even interview her for 2 years is disgusting. But it's crazy, the whole situation with that, and I feel like you see stuff like this out of gymnastics a lot, and it, I guess, kind of makes sense that like it seems like an easy place if you're a predator. That seems like a good spot to go to try to. You've got girls and the leotards, you touching them for spotting and stuff like that. Like, you don't touch athletes, and like if you're a man coaching like a basketball team or a softball team or something like that. And so it's just nasty. And I'm not sure, excuse me. I'm not sure what needs to be done, but they need to do something. I'm not sure if it's like every athlete that does gymnastics, like bring in like independent people to talk to them like regularly about like what bad touching is, and ask them if anything's happened, stuff like that, to give them like a space to bring that up rather than just relying on them to report it. But I feel like something's got to happen with that to stop stuff like this from happening. You had like the Larry Nasser situation. There was something else, and then this place. And this place, I forgot which of the two places it was he worked at, has put out Olympians as well too. So it's not like they're just a middle of nowhere gymnastics club. It's just sickening. My sister did gymnastics when she was younger, and I was talking to her about, because I always wondered why you've got to wear like the leotard. Like I'm like, you couldn't wear like shorts and like a shirt and like compete in that. And I guess she was saying that the movement, you get better movement when you're in the leotard. Plus the judges, part of the way that you get judged is based off of the fact of like if your hips are turned one way or like whatever, like if you're, I don't remember the specific words that she used, but basically the leotard, I guess, is very important to the way that they compete. But I was wondering that too, of like, why do you have like these young girls out here wearing these? But anyways, the situation is just sick, and I just wanted to bring that up on here about how that's fucking disgusting, and that they need to look into why it took 2 years to interview those people. Either of you guys have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, welcome to the podcast, Chad. This is a
Yeah.
this is a very
Yep.
positive, very positive. Not that that's but we should talk about this stuff as hard as it is.
We should.
I think what just my first initial reaction. It won't make the problem zero, but if you just try to make sure you have X amount of like parents that are chaperones per kid, like 2 chaperones per 1 doctor or trainer alone with a kid, like, or supervising a kid. I don't know. I know that's hard to do because like, but I know that parents everywhere are probably concerned about this. And gymnastics is one of those sports that's very cutthroat. So, and it's very, like you just said, it's about the way your hips are turned. And it's like, and they're having kids do this at 3, 4 years old. Right. So, and that alone is just like, that's hard and almost sick that you're judging a 3-year-old where they're, like whatever. That's disgusting. But it is also sport. And if the kid is enjoying the sport, like let the kid just go have fun. It comes to obviously a head when you have these creeps that use their doctorate degree to get close to these people. And that's why I think just getting somebody that's close to the situation, and that I don't know, and I know it's impossible to have one person that really cares about each kid alone with the doctor or alone with the coach at all times with the kid or whatever, but like we got to keep watching our kids, man. We got to keep an eye on them, and we got to listen to them too, as like a guy approaching 30. I don't have any kids yet, but like if I have if my daughter, I want to ask her everything about every practice, get every detail, and if there's a hole in that story or some weird stuff going on, then I want to open the floor for her and try to, get where she's coming from. And um God forbid that would happen to anybody's kid. But yeah, you just
Yeah.
you have to ask your kid questions and um, listen to your kid when they're talking to you, and even when you don't think it makes sense, like try to think about why it makes sense to them because
Mhm.
they may be trying to tell you something.
It might be. And as
And
somebody who
strategy,
has a 5-year-old,
yeah.
it hits differently. I put my son in that position just mentally, and I'm like, what, I'd be ready to kill a motherfucker if that happened to my son. Like it's crazy. But I think you're right. We do need to have some third party person there asking the questions, letting them know what's inappropriate, what's appropriate. Those sorts of things are important. And I think it's also, I'm not going to blame it 100% on the parents, but I know gymnastics is cutthroat. When you do start early and you only have this window that you can do gymnastics, at a professional level when it comes to the Olympics or summer games or something like that. Um, and I know the parents just want them to be successful. I want you to be successful, and then they just let them they let stuff happen to them. You see it with pageant, and little girls in pageants and things like that, where they just, are just pushing them like, yeah, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It'll get better, but it doesn't get better. Um, and it's just like, it's this golden opportunity, and people are only as loyal as the opportunity that's in front of them, and that's sad to say because you're sacrificing a child. And it's, I don't know what we can do to fix this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any answers. Um,
I'm
it, I don't know.
I'm starting to
I don't
wonder
know.
if because I know like I think like if you work around kids like and stuff, I think you got to go through like background checks. But I'm starting to wonder if there should be like a maybe like a nonprofit or something that pays every gymnastics gym, every school that has a gymnastics coach, have the coach has to go through maybe a once, maybe a yearly or bi-yearly like psych evaluation. Like bring in like a psychologist that works with situations like this and have them go through that just to make sure something I feel like has got to change. And
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like
I,
people don't know what you do in the comfort of your own home. Like, people has like this duality to them where, they are who they are in front of people, but then when they get home, like they could be this total monster. You know what I'm saying? And we wouldn't even know. I don't think a
that's
psych
true.
eval would even tell us, hey, that this person's interested in children in an inappropriate way. They're good at hiding it.
Right.
So that's the thing that's scary.
I just think that especially like I said, I need to know why that took 2 years from the interview that girl between
That's a big
2022 and
thing too.
2024. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me.
You need to get on that immediately. Like, there needs to
Yep.
be somebody investigating that immediately, talking to the other person, finding out what happened. How you gonna interview somebody 2 years later and have accurate details about what happened, or
Right.
have not been coerced into saying something different at that time. Um, it's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Um, no easy pivot out of this, but we're gonna move to something significantly lighter. Um,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about Noah Knigga. I'm just so I'm
Oh
sure most
man, yeah.
The
Let's
K
just go
is
from child
silent.
porn. The K's silent. The K's silent.
we gonna talk about yeah. So
Hmm.
I'm sure most people have heard of there is a football player. His name is Noah Knigga, but Knigga is spelled Knigga. Obviously the jokes write themselves. The man's name looks like yeah, I know a nigga. Like
Yeah, yeah, right.
um and then it looks like he was approached by it was like Hood Clothing or Hood something like that. Has his own merch line now. He's got two hats that say Knigga on the front of them. Um
That's
Chad,
the worst.
I know you got some stuff to say about this. I'm gonna give you the floor first and we'll kind of respond
Man,
to that.
let
Kyle,
me like I've been.
be very careful saying this
Yeah,
man's
yeah,
name, Kyle.
yeah, right.
I don't think I'm gonna repeat either one of you. I don't think I'm gonna even try.
He's like, I'm gonna let y'all talk. I'm gonna let y'all talk about this. Look, man, I am thoroughly offended by this name. I need him to change his last name. I need his whole family to change their last name. I don't even know how they got this shit. Like, that is a fucked up name to have.
Hey, you know how they got it.
Uh,
You know how they
All
got
right.
it.
All
They
right.
know a
I know,
nigga.
I know how they got it. I
Nigga.
know how
They
they
know
got
a
it.
nigga.
I know how they got it, but
They
it's
got the
almost like
K
they got
pass.
they got branded with like this mark of shame, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know, man. And the fact that he's got like a clothing line, and that part. What are we doing right now? Like, why does he have a clothing line where he just has his name on there? You know what I'm saying? And he knows he's selling it because it basically says nigga on it. Like, that's how he's selling it. It-
Are you
I
are
don't
you,
know, man.
like all jokes aside, are you actually upset about it or no?
I am actually upset about it because I'm old school, man. I'm a little bit older than you guys, but this is ridiculous, man. Like, it's
It
absolutely
is.
ridiculous. Part of me is hating, but I know he's profiting off of, this name. He's according to his stats, he's kind of a subpar linebacker. You know what I mean? Like, uh, but he's profiting off of his name being so close to a derogatory term. Like I don't know. It's stupid. Super offended. I need his family to change their name like immediately.
I'm not saying that you don't have a point, but I guess I'm also thinking about it differently too. Like, on one hand, maybe we differ on this. I do think this shit is hilarious, especially the fact that his first name is Noah. Like, this nigga is
Yeah.
he's not Tom Knigga, he's Noah nigga,
No.
dog. Like, that's like Steve Kerr naming his fucking son Nick. Like,
Oh god, yeah, that is. Yeah, that would be like that,
but here's the other thing too. This guy, like, imagine being white and having that be your last name. That's got to be crazy. Like, that's got to be crazy for every one of your family members for the history of time. And
especially nowadays.
I'm sure that life has not been easy for him with that last name. So, like you're saying, if you're a subpar linebacker, if you're just a middle of the road kind of guy, and you get a chance to profit off of something that's been causing you pain for a while, I also can't say that not many people would do the same thing.
Are you saying Noah's black?
of course it would.
No, I'm not saying he's black. His name is Knigga, though.
Yeah, it is.
No, he did.
I thought it was
He drew a short straw with that for sure. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm looking for it now because there was a picture online that I'm like, I don't think this dude has had a rough time. I think it's been a running joke his whole fucking life. And
it started with like some YouTuber, I can't remember his name, but it's this guy who he's just like a memer and he plays like 5-on-5 basketball at rec arenas and plays terribly and talks crap to people. And he went to his game with black people and he kept saying the first name and then let the black people that were with him say the last name. This was probably over a year ago that I first heard this thing happening. So I think Noah has now realized like, oh, I can capitalize on this. And to be honest, I agree with you. That's a shitty move on him. Like, you should just like let whatever's said about you and whatever hype is about you because of your name happen. Like, Rudy Gay didn't paint his nails because his name was Rudy Gay, you know?
Right.
Like,
he didn't come out with no fucking clothing line.
Exactly. Like, so you don't have to steer into it in this way. I agree with that completely.
Wouldn't that have been the craziest bag ever if Rudy Gay did some kind of like collab with gay athletes?
In 2012 or 2010, whatever, when he was really good. No.
Like
that's just where society was.
If he came out with like a shoe line, like a Pride shoe line, and wore those boys while he hooped, that you don't think that'd have gone crazy?
No, I think people would have Dennis Rodman his ass. They would have been like, he's weird. He's posterizing very like they would not have given him respect for it.
That's fair. Do you? I mean, I hear you guys. I'm just saying, I feel like it's hard.
I do agree with you.
They brought that check in front of him and said,
funny. It is kind of funny how his name. I do agree with you on that.
They did that.
I probably shouldn't.
They did that shit on
might
purpose.
get me canceled, but it is kind of funny that a white man has
that name.
That name,
yes.
and he can't help it. Like, he didn't choose it.
It almost seems like a Chappelle skit in real life.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
It does. 100%. It does.
But I definitely disagree with him, like making merch with K and word on
it. Yeah. Because
I
could see he's gonna have a hat, and then he's gonna have like a red X on the K. You know, the K there.
It happens so fast. It's so easy. Just put a.
Chad, would you feel
red X that K?
Oh my god.
Would you feel differently?
You're right though. That's how terrible this world is.
Would you feel differently if he donated like 20% of his profits to like inner city black kids?
No.
Boys and Girls Club? No.
No, I wouldn't feel any different. I wouldn't feel any different. I'd still be pissed off, honestly. He's capital. I don't know, man. It's just that's the way of the world now. It's just you capitalize on anything. You know what I'm saying? And he can capitalize on this just because
It's
of its proximity to a derogatory term. And
it
maybe
seems
I'm just
unethical
hating,
to
but
you.
I don't. It does. It seems unethical to me, but a lot of things do nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I have a different standard of life for myself, and I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know,
Well,
man. It's crazy.
we gonna talk about some more unethical stuff when we get to my all due disrespect. But
Oh
I'm
shit.
I'm gonna go last. Which one of you guys wants to go first?
With the all due disrespects,
Yes, sir.
yeah, let me go first because
Hell
mine
yeah.
was mine. All right, so here's me hating again.
Okay, let's get after it.
Javonta Davis and Jake Paul fighting. Um, can I just say I'm a huge boxing fan. I love boxing. I hate the way it's judged, but I love boxing. Jake Paul is another one that I feel like is just capitalizing off some BS. I mean, right now, yeah, you can say he's a boxer now, but he really hasn't fought anybody that's you know what I'm saying, like actually in contention for anything. So I'm waiting for Javante Davis, and I hope he wires this dude's jaw up. You know what I'm saying? Like I really hope, with all disrespect, I hope he wires this man's jaw because yeah, he's getting his bag. He's getting his money. That's great. That's great for that aspect. But for boxing, I feel like it's kind of shitting on boxing a little bit by taking advantage of the sport. I know all the boxers are in there. They're trying to get their money, but they're also trying to be the greatest. And you're not being the greatest fighting Mike Tyson at what 55, 60 fucking years old, and all these other people who are no names or sort of no names. Like you want to be a boxer, get in there and fight somebody who's top 10, top 15, top 20 in your weight class. So I mean that's my all disrespect. And I don't know how
So
y'all feel
Yo,
about it, but let's go.
I agree completely. He's literally living on NIL boxing. Like he's making his own deals
Yes,
and
yes.
turning it into some money, he's using that name and likeness, and
Mhm.
I I respect the grind, but the
Yes.
way he's doing it and the people he's choosing and I mean, what's Gervonta Davis's typical weight class?
I don't know.
It's
I
got to
think he's
be no
right.
more than 160.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
And Jake Paul is walking around at 195, you know?
Yes.
So he's just calling out anybody he can get a layup against. And I know like people can't necessarily call Mike Tyson a layup, but we all saw that fight.
at
We all
his
know
I
age,
what
mean,
it
yeah.
was.
Mike was chewing on his gloves and shit. Like it was a
Yeah,
crazy ass fight, man.
yeah. Mike was just trying to
Um,
freaking chew the mushrooms out of his boxing gloves.
What are you
what
doing?
here's my question about this, and I'm not as tapped into boxing as you are. Hasn't the big thing with him been the fact that people are saying that he needs to fight actual fighters? So
Yes, and I'm
now,
happy
Yes,
he is.
yes.
I'm happy he is now. So
But
now we can really
but
see what he's about. And if this is a real, like I'm trying to move up in this class, or I'm trying to be number one in whatever class he's doing, like he's fighting somebody who's active right now. And that's what I would want to see. If you're gonna try to be a boxer, compete. Don't just do it for the money. Compete.
but
yeah,
to my understanding too, the only person he's ever fought at his weight that is like a real and true like contender for like the boxing series was Tommy Fury, and he lost. And I know this was years ago, and I'm sure Drake's been training. I'm sure he's better now, but like he lost that fight, and then he's basically taken softball since. I think he's fought a couple of like legitimate boxers since, but like somebody like Tommy Fury that was kind of coming onto the scene and had a pro record, I don't think he's fought anybody of that caliber since that fights in his weight class in the boxing divisions and
Mhm.
in the pro boxing divisions. And so how are you gonna go and call out one of the best guys in his own weight class? That's
Right.
bullshit.
That
Toph,
is.
how do you feel? I'm sorry. I'm so used to Toph being on here with us. Chat, how do you feel about the people that say that he's actually bringing attention back to a sport that's really fallen behind, even like MMA?
I mean, I get it, but he's, and this could be the old man in me, but I feel like he's bringing it back in a way that's going to replicate people just doing it for money and not for, trying to make the Hall of Fame in boxing, or people who are trying to like become the actual number one world contender, those sorts of things. Yeah, he's bringing people who have never seen boxing into it, but he's not competing. He's not competing for boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just competing for numbers and his own NILs shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I love
Okay.
boxing, man. I love boxing. I grew up watching it with my dad all the time, and we used to bootleg all the pay-per-view fights that we could. So I watched it all the time, and it's just kind of feels like a shitting on boxing to me.
Not for the love of the game.
Not for the love of the game.
It's fair. Kyle, you're all due disrespect.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So I'm gonna, for the second time ever, I'm gonna go with an all due respect tonight. Gonna make it a little positive. We've had some negative vibes tonight. Not that they weren't, like I said, necessary to talk about, but
Sure.
gonna make it a little more uplifted, a little more positive. Um, the Chicago Bears actually signing Tyson Bagent. They signed Tyson Bagent to a 2-year, $10 million contract. Um, and I mean, he's shown promise as a backup quarterback already, and really has done a good job this preseason. He's got a 63.5% completion percentage, 300 pass yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick through basically just 2 halves of playing. So he basically played one game and got 300 pass yards, 200 or 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And I know it's against the backups, but I do think that he's kind of given Ben Johnson a reason to sign him in this preseason, just from what I've watched. And so I really respect that the Bears are not doing Bears things and not doing Cowboys things. And they're signing somebody that's been there for 4 years and has bought into what the Bears were about through 3 regimes. And all of a sudden, this new regime is like, you know what? Like this, like we see what they saw in you, and we're going to help you get even better. Here's 2 years, and like lock in on the playbook, basically. He was actually getting really emotional at his presser when asked about it, and he was talking about gratitude for what he gets to do. He talked about his dad, Travis, who eventually became an arm wrestling champion, which I don't know how big that pay is for sure, but like, I'm sure they did okay when in Tyson's childhood for him to get these opportunities. But he said his dad didn't even really have running water until he got through high school and got his own place. So he was really grateful for the opportunity that he has and reflected on his dad's hard work as well for what he did to give Tyson what he could now go and do. So, yeah, I really respect this kid. He got really emotional at this presser, and I was almost like they were playing the sad music on the TikTok when I first watched it, and I was like, hold it back, man. And then I went and did more research. Like I screw my all due disrespect for going positive vibes about Tyson Bagent tonight. So all due disrespect to Tyson Bagent and the Bears, my division rival.
All due
Yeah.
respect. I want to say three things about this. For one, Anthony Richardson, you see that? You stay on, stay humble, be a good teammate. You can stay in the league. Number two, and three, you stole one of my funny posts out from under me because I was going to bring this up for two reasons.
No way.
One, yeah, one of them, I've never been able. I saw a hilarious tweet a year or two ago. Every time I think of Tyson Bagent, I think about someone said that he looks like the embodiment of a human cigarette. I've never forgotten that. Every time I think about him, I think about that. The other one, and maybe this is super casual of me to not know. I feel like I've heard of a lot of the big sports agencies, but do you know that he is represented by a sports agency called Milk and Honey Sports?
No, but that's kind of tight.
How many people they have in Milk
I
and
didn't.
Honey Sports?
I didn't look into it. I know that when the
Watch, it's owned by Travis Bagent, his dad.
when I saw the tweet notification from Ian Rappaport, it had said that he had his reps at Milk and Honey Sports. I was like, what? Like, I've heard of CAA, I've heard of Rich Paul's thing, but I never heard of Milk and Honey. So out here doing big things for the little people.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Milk and Honey.
Yeah, shout out Milk and Honey Sports Agency.
As we continue our up and down of good and bad on this podcast tonight, I'm glad that you lifted the mood, because I'm about to kill it real quick. This is coming from the absolute bottom of my heart, dog. My all due disrespect on this podcast tonight is Donald Trump. And I'm not trying to get into a whole political thing here too. Well, yes, I am. I am getting into a political thing here, but this shit is getting out.
Promised.
This shit is getting out of hand, bro. It really and truly is. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the stuff in the news where it's not even in the news. Trump tweeted it, or Truth Social it, or whatever the fuck it is, about how he's going after the Smithsonian, basically, because there's so many stories about slavery and how slavery was bad, and that it makes our country look bad, and we want our country to represent the winning that it was. And this shit is disgusting. It honestly drives me crazy that we're here in 2025 and we're getting to the point where people are trying to rewrite history. You've already seen this with Florida before. You've seen the stuff with the Prager University. I watched this little animated clip that's for kids, bro. They had animated Christopher Columbus talking to these little kids about how slavery wasn't that bad, and there was actually benefits on both sides of this stuff, where they're talking about lots of times when you take somewhere over or stuff, like you kill people, and it's like, slavery was at least better than dying, and there was mutually beneficial. First of all, tell that to all the people that jumped overboard in the Middle Passage so they didn't have to deal with what was here. For one, it wasn't worse than death to everybody. Some people chose death. Yes. Number two, there is no situation in not telling the story of our country without talking about how we got here, from the good and the bad of it. Our country has lots of great situations in here, and there are lots of places in the African American Museum and stuff like that talk about the triumphs that Black people have had and the contributions that we've had to this country. But we can't erase the bad stuff that happened that got us here. The Black people literally built this fucking country, along with a lot of other minorities in the railroads and situations like that. But our fucking whole economic system in the way back came off the backs of people that look like me and Chad. And the fact that we're going to sit here and try to erase shit like this, it drives me fucking crazy that this is even allowed to be talked about in this stage in our country. The South economics, they went to war over it. We were so instrumental to the economy in this country. The South went to war rather than lose the slaves because of how much we generated money for them. We can't just pretend like none of this happened, that none of slavery happened. The terrible, you can look up every day of your life, you can learn a new situation about the terrible fucking torture shit that they used to do to the slaves back in the day. And to sit here and try to gloss over this now and tell people with a fucking straight face that slavery was beneficial for Black people, it wasn't that bad. What the fuck are we doing as a country where that happens? Someone else had pointed out, you would never go into a Holocaust museum and be like, wow, this is really depressing. This shit happened. It's bad. And so while we're not defined by our past and we can strive to be better, we should acknowledge it and acknowledge why it was bad and use that to move forward into a better country and say, this is where we've come from. This is where we are now. But to sit here and act like slavery didn't happen, and Reconstruction and Jim Crow didn't happen, and the Civil Rights Act and all of the progress that was made, that in itself is the testament to the as Trump said, the accomplishments of the downtrodden, not to pretend like it didn't happen and we just fucking showed up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disgusted by that, and I honestly think that no matter which way you voted in the last election, I'm not saying anything about that. But if you can sit here and say that this guy, whether you like him as a president or don't, if you can sit here and say that what he's doing isn't wrong, I don't feel like there's any place for you in this fucking country. I don't like. That's my opinion, and I'm not saying that you can't like him as a president or dislike him. I'm talking about this specific thing. Wrong is wrong, no matter who it comes from, and that's my rant for today.
I feel you, man. You can't write the story of America without including some aspect of slavery, some aspect of what happened pre 1960s. It's just not possible. It's sugarcoating everything that happened. You can't tell a story like that. Like slavery was such an instrumental a part of history, American history, that you can't sugarcoat that. You can't like not tell these stories about these people because they were important. They were definitely important, even though they're not seen as important. And he went into the African American Museum in 2021 and was like, "Yo, this is a great place." So what changed now? Like what changed from then to now? Uh, but I mean, there's so much I could say about that. That is terrible. Because we can't hide stuff from our children. We need to let them know that these things are out there, and then educate them on why they're wrong, why we shouldn't do this, and at least let them know, hey, this is what happened from that. This is how we got here. It is sickening. It's definitely fucking sickening to me.
And the thing about it with him that I'm it's just getting to a point like right at the beginning of his presidency, they had, gone after DEI and stuff, and they took off the
Immediately.
stories of Jackie Robinson off of the United States armed, I think it was the Air Force or the Armed Forces website. The stories of Jackie Robinson, his service in the military. They've gone back to trying to rename all of the stuff, the Confederate stuff, the statues, the names of the places, and now this is like, bro, who is not seeing this pattern at this point? It seems
Mhm.
like it at best for him as a person, if we're not saying that he's racist, it seems like he sure is the arm of racism, of allowing these things to happen to make things better for your base. But
So
that's where I'm at with it.
So yeah, to bounce just right off that, I don't think that I'm reading his tweet that he specifically made. I do agree he was trying to minimize the things that have happened in the past, and I will 100% agree that we need to recognize what history was across our country, across every country, and still talk about it. There's no reason to not talk about it. There's room for forgiveness. Like there's a reason that we're all on this podcast right now is because there's been a whole lot of room for forgiveness going forward. I do think that may have been what Trump was trying to get across was like, well, we need to move on and like talk about the progress we have made. But the way he said it was in such a way of like, I'm going to minimize all of this negative shit that happened and talk about how I think we should talk more about what we've done going forward. Do I think we should talk about what we've done going forward? Hell yeah. I think we should continue to break down this barrier and continue to all just coexist and love each other like the way that I love doing this podcast with my fellow man here, like regardless of the color of his skin. Like that's what we should all be doing,
With your fellow
obviously,
Kangas,
My,
with your fellow Kangas.
my fellow Noahs. I'll say my fellow Noahs. Oh. No, I mean
Uh, I got
we're
you. I'm
blessed.
sorry.
No, you good. That was perfect. We're blessed to even be in this position, obviously, and we're blessed to have grown to this point. But there's so much more room to grow, and so many more things that need to happen. And so it did feel like a minimization, if that's even a word. But it was minimized what's happened in the past in that tweet, and like you said, the Jackie Robinson thing and everything else. It's like it is starting to pile on as a very weird trend that I don't like as an American. I don't like it. I don't want us to feel this divide. I don't want us to even be talking about this as something that should be taken out or minimized, or I don't know. But I do think that we should talk about like the good things that have happened from us desegregating too. Like I think there should be more of that in museums rather than like, yeah, this had like it was probably, I mean, how many years ago? Like, I don't know. All through my high school career, which is over 10 years ago now, like I had like plenty of like there have to be stories and things that have happened that you could put in a museum where a white kid and a black kid got along, and like something else you can like prop up that's positive. I
But
do
there
agree
is a
with
lot of
that.
stuff like that in the museums as well too. There is like the African American Museum. There is all sorts of stuff like that. Go learn about George Washington Carver. Go learn about other stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just
I'll,
mean like how we've started to desegregate, like the recent history of the last like 30, 40 years. Like there there should be more on that, but there's just also so much divisiveness that we're so focused on, because we have to be, because there's still so much going on. But I don't know. I do agree that we should talk about how far we have come, but I guess you shouldn't necessarily talk about it until we've come to the complete other side of enlightenment, right? Like we shouldn't
the issue, it seems like
honor
to me, is the fact
halfway.
that the fact is it seems like every time progress is made, people want to like pretend like everything is all good and like tell everyone to shut up. And the more that you do that, getting rid of DI, getting rid of woke, all of this stuff, the more that you come out and publicly try to go like get rid of it and how that's bad for everything, it makes the people that are part of these marginalized communities feel like you're attacking us. So we talk about it more, and this is where the circle of divisiveness happens. People
Right.
talk about the way to get racism to go away is to stop talking about it, then stop talking about it. But if the one side keeps bringing it up and saying how this is fucking our country up, we're gonna be like, bro, we just trying to fucking get jobs. We're just trying to do this and that.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And it's like now everyone's gonna be like, oh wow, look at the black people are all mad about this. You don't want more stories of like your successes told and stuff like that. But it's like we weren't talking about this until you brought it up. I
No,
guess
that
is where
makes
I'm at
sense.
with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
I
mean,
get.
I'm old enough to have seen racism take a physical change and not a chemical change in my life. I've seen it change in different ways because, like I said, I'm a little bit older than you guys. And I remember when Dan Quayle was running over with steamrollers, running over rap CDs and hip hop CDs and stuff like that. And, my father comes from a sundown town where if you were black and the sun was down, hey, you free game. And that's the reason he is here. That's the reason I am here is because he came from a sundown town. So it's like it's not that far away, in history. And, even in my life, like I have seen where, you get to where, people were, talking about racism or doing racist stuff or trying to exclude black people. And now you have it where it's kind of coming back to fruition where you trying to pave over those potholes of history in order to say what a George Washington Carver did, but not saying that like he went through all this shit in order to get to that point. He had to go to this school, he had to work with minimal tools. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we focus on that, but that is a part of the story. That's why George Washington Carver is who he is because he had to be in this situation during this time and he wasn't allowed to do this, but he still made this happen. I mean, you can't just say, hey, he made this happen, but and not tell how he got there. You got to tell how you got there. You got to tell these stories of how Sojourner Truth, decided to say, "Fuck it, I'm about to free a bunch of slaves," and you can't just forget about half of that. Like you got to tell
I,
those stories.
I wanna say four things before we wrap this up. To your point, Sojourner Truth, George Washington Carver, stuff like that. what people get uncomfortable by is the fact that when you talk about the accomplishments of the downtrodden, a lot of our accomplishments came from the perseverance of the things that we experienced during those times. And Sojourner Truth is a hero to us, and sorry to the rest of the country that the reason, the hero for us delivered us from you. So yeah, you look like the bad guy in the story. Now you don't want to talk about it, but those are our accomplishments. That's what we started at. That was ground zero for us in this country. And then three things too. There's a lot of jokes about white people not seasoning their food, black people seasoning their food. Part of the reasons that we came from so much seasoning and stuff is because we had the scraps of the food. We had to learn how to make this shit edible so we could eat it. First time I got called the N-word was in 5th grade. When my dad was born, I'm black and white. When my dad was born, interracial marriage was illegal. Like, I hate when people act like all of this stuff was so far ago, because it wasn't.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. No.
And you talk to your average black person, like we got two of us on the show right now. Chad's dad from a sundown town. My dad was born before interracial marriage was illegal. Like, this stuff's not far. And if you talk to fellow black people, everybody's got at least one story, if not more. So when people come and try to gloss over it and seem like this is all so far away, everything's perfect now. It feels disrespectful.
It is.
I agree. Yeah.
It is.
Let's end the show with some levity. Let's get into funny posts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kyle.
Speaking of black.
Whew, we're out of that segment. All right, everybody. Oh, I made it out alive. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
You had to work through that and the Knigga topic, bro.
Yeah. I've had a tough night.
He's tough spot all night.
Hey, I've been like Javante Davis out there.
Right.
All right, let me hit y'all with some funny posts. We'll start with Chad's here. If I can ever share a screen.
Oh, come on, Grandpa. We live now.
I know. Yeah. Here we
All
go.
Right.
Oh, the Not So Serious pod is live right now, just so everybody knows.
Hey, shout out to our homies over there. Shout out Lamont.
That's right. Shout out. Oh shit. Shout out Lamont.
Ooh.
Shut up! Don't tell me this ain't playing. Oh, it wasn't playing the noise.
I was gonna say we have no sound.
We're here now.
Oh my god.
Yo.
That's hilarious.
This is so funny. You know why? Because rest in peace to my big brother, man. My big brother had a 1970 Chevy Nova. And he had like 315s in the back of that. And that's how we knew he was outside. We would hear his shit rattling so loud. So the fact that recently they were talking about I guess some NASA guy was saying that aliens are like 7-foot dark-skinned people. So then it turned into, hey, aliens are black people. This post is wonderful because, yeah, that's how I knew a lot of people came home, is because I heard their cars rattling like that. So the fact that you got aliens doing it, it's fucking
I'm pretty sure
hilarious
Donald
to me,
Trump
man.
probably started that rumor.
He probably did. He probably did.
Yo, the aliens pull up playing shoulder lean. I might have to go see what they're talking about, bro.
Hey, I'm in there. Take me to wherever y'all from. We going to
the alien cookout, bro.
Right, let's go.
That brisket better been on there for 16 hours by now. I hope.
No doubt.
All right, next up, I got a funny post for you guys. This is about Beth the baker.
Who is that?
You'll find out.
Okay.
Every single time I tell someone I'm a baker, they go, "Oh, what's your favorite thing to make?"
What's up, everybody? My name is Beth the Baker, and I make videos about baking things. Oh, that's cool. What kind of things do you like to bake, Beth the Baker? I honestly cannot believe you would ask me something like that. Like, seriously, what is wrong with you?
Every single time I tell someone I'm a baker, they go, "Oh, what's your favorite thing to make?"
What's up?
Did I miss?
No, that was good.
Okay.
That was good. It took me a second to realize that when he came in at first, I thought he was saying that his name was Beth the Baker. No, that's funny. People talking. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. People.
So, what's your favorite thing to bake? And he's like, I mean, you're a freaking baker. Like, what do you think people are gonna ask you?
No, it's literally. All right, so mine. I just got one quick one. There was a video that went out of Klay Thompson trying Megan Thee Stallion spaghetti. Yeah, so she had made some spaghetti for him. He's eating. He's talking about how much he loved it. NBA Central hit a banger today, dog. I laughed so hard when I saw this pop up. It said, report, Klay Thompson is reportedly dealing with food poisoning.
Dude, I knew it. As soon as you brought this up, I knew that.
And then Mike's takes on Twitter said, do you know how invested in sports you have to be to get this joke? NBA Central is elite. I bet Meg can make some great spaghetti, though, no lie.
Bro, somebody in the comments was like, bro, I believed you for a second. Like, and then they had gone and looked at everything. So he got, or he or she, whoever's in charge of Centel.
Bro, it's Woj. It's Woj. It's gotta be Woj. You know how many times Sentinel's broken news before it's happened, bro? There's a new saying that Sentinel's never wrong, just early.
I mean, they're sometimes wrong.
There's a big thought.
They're sometimes trolling. I guess they're never wrong. I guess that's a good point. They're trolling, but when they release news that hits, you're right. It is right.
And people never know if it's real or not. And then a day or two later, boom, it's facts.
All due disrespect to Centel, but
I love Centel.
All due respect to Centel.
They're the funniest of that brand, like the Ball Sack Sports. There was Barry McCockiner that did stuff like that. Centel, I feel like, is definitely like the LeBron of troll sport. You said all right. Fuck Jordan.
Could be the MJ. Could be the MJ.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Late entry. We out of here.
Like, subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Comment.
Thanks, y'all, for having me on.